Okay, welcome, and today I'm going to have a look at how to make a address, so a HTTP address from a little bit of numbers, from some numbers, which is represented right here, okay, from these kind of numbers. So how do we do that? Now, there are many different ways in which we can do that, one of which is using no IP. Now, in today's lesson, or tutorial if you like, I'm going to have a look at how to convert that into that and how it can be used. So, technically I'm going to learn, or we're going to learn even, how to do this using remote desktop. So we're going to make a remote desktop using that external IP address, okay, bind it to an IP address so that you can access the computer using solely an address like, I don't know, HTTP to those slashes, semicolon, colon, and then say something like vincentjewelers.com or vincentjewelers.co.uk, that kind of thing, okay? Now, to start, the easiest thing that I like to do is open up the ports. So select your favorite browser and then type in the address 192.168.0.1. Now just give it a second to load. And then go to services and then type a custom service and then type whatever the name you want and make sure it's selected as TCP UDP and make sure it's 3389 and then click apply, and then you'll be presented with this table that's right here that you can use, okay? Now, say for instance you didn't know what this address is. Say 192.168.0.1 came to a blank screen and it doesn't allow you access to your router. Okay, that's very simple. Just go to your start menu and then type in cmd if you're using Windows and then type in ipconfig. Whoa. Something was... okay. No, I'm not saying this, just something happened outside. Okay, so IP version for address, and your default gateway is what you're going to be looking at, because that's what we'll need, okay? So, the default gateway is the address that you need to type into the address bar to make sure that to make sure that you can gain access to this, okay, to this router. So type that in and you will gain access to it. Then the username and password will be given to you by your service provider, okay, so just check your documentation, I'm sure it will be there. Then just type in your username and password and then you gain access to the screen, and then see if you can find things like port forwarding or add a custom service in your router, so that way you can make something like this if you're using a router that's not Netgear, okay? The next step is to go to firewall rules if you're using a Netgear, and then click on outbound services add button and make sure that you select the TCP UDP port. In this case for me that's IRDP. Then the action is allow always. Then click apply. Then you'll be presented with this table which you can just glorify, okay? Or, I meant that as a joke, not in the literal sense. Okay, the inbound services, click on add, make sure that that again is selected TCP UDP port 3389, and then as the action allow always, the send to LAN server. Now this is a crucial point because you will need to use that CMD IP version for address in order to do this. So all you have to do is just type this address. In this case for me it's 192.168.0.5. For you it could be a different address, no matter, just type it in and then just click apply. Okay, and that's that. Now what you need to do is go to a service like noip.com. So that's this address here, www.no-ip.com, and click on no3 and make an account. Alright, just type in your address, it's completely free, and then log in. You'll be presented with an activation email, just as standard, and then just click on it, make sure it's all nice, up and working. Log in, and then click on add hosts. Now the host name, just type in as whatever you want, okay, that doesn't matter. And make sure that you don't select the no IP enhanced domains, because you will have to pay a fee, I believe, in order to access them. So make sure that you go down to the bottom half of the field and you'll be seeing no IP free domains. That's the thing that you want to see. Just select from whichever one you want, it doesn't matter. Now host type, make sure that DNS host A is selected. Okay, that's what we're aiming for. DNS host A is the thing that will allow you to do this. The IP address, don't worry about that if you don't know it. We will get to that in a moment. And then just click create host. You'll be presented with something that looks similar to this. So in order to access this, just go to manage hosts in the column just there, and you'll be presented with this. This is what you'll be presented with. Now all you have to do is just copy this, okay, and make sure it's just stored. And now what you need to do is just go to this little thing here, okay. I have this on my desktop, don't worry if you don't have it, I'll show you how to get it. Then click on Advanced User Control Panel, and then click on Advanced, then Advanced, okay, and then just click, sorry, don't left click, just click into Users, and then left click, then New User, okay, and then you can make an account if you wish, or if you have already made an account and you want to just put a password on it, then just left click on that person, set password, click with proceed. I already have one on here, okay, and then you just type in the new password. I already have one on here, so I'm just going to cancel that, and then just click apply or OK, or whatever the option is to confirm that, and then follow the on-screen instructions. I believe that you have to log off and then log back in again in order to verify that. Okay, so how do I access this? That's very simple. Just click down on your start button and then just type in advanced, and then you'll be presented with advanced user control panel. Just click that, and you just did what I just did a moment ago, and that's that. Now to make sure that the remote access is given, make sure that you have a version of Windows 7 that is above Home Premium, because Home Premium has a limitation in which you can't do this certain thing. I'll show you this just now. Just go to my computer, left click Properties, and then just click on Remote Settings, and what you need to do is tick the Allow Remote Assistant Connections to this computer, and then in the Remote Desktop allow connections from computers running any version of Remote Desktop. Now that's the part that will be missing in Home Premium. I do believe that there is a workaround for it. However, to my knowledge, I don't exactly know how it works. However, I do know that there is one file that is used from I think it's Server 2008, I'm not exactly sure, which is a TS host file. I believe it's a host file, which can be used to just to bypass that. I'll see if I can find it and post a link in the description. Okay, so that you might be able to work using this method that I've done. However, it's not 100% guaranteed to work. Okay, it's more likely to work from professional to ultimate. Okay, now that that's done, now all you need to do is type in remote into the search bar if you're using Windows 7 like I am, and then just click on Remote Desktop, type in that little address, click on Connect, and hopefully everything should be working fine. and you should be able to log in using your credentials that you had for that user account. Okay, so now I think I did say that I'll find a way to monitor this. Now, you see this little address here? That, I believe over the course of 3 days, is being changed continuously by your ISP. I can find that out, but I don't remember exactly off the top of my head. But I do know that that number will change, and that is a bit of a hassle, especially if you memorize a certain number and you made an app for it and say that you want to connect. It's just a pain to keep track of that. Well, there's a way around it, thankfully enough. So just click on this no IP little banner here, and then click on download. Download this for your select operating system. Okay, so I have Windows, so I clicked on Windows, I've downloaded it and installed it, and then click on this. Now you're presented with this little interface. Initially you'll have to type in your username and password that you've created for your no IP account. Now type that in, and then this little bit here, the select hosts, will have a cross on it. Don't worry about it. All you need to know is that little address that we had before, just see if it's there under your hosts, tick it, click save, and that's it. It will just update like that. Okay? And then usually over the course of when you start this setup, so just install it, follow the on-screen instructions. If you want it to start up on your start, on this little area here, it will come. If you make it start up during the startup process of your computer, so that's when you're accessing Windows, then it will come up saying that, hey, look, I found this IP address. This is really awesome. You know, can I use it? Just click yeah, and then just click refresh now, just to make sure that it's all up to date, hunky dory. You see, and the real beauty of this is that because you're using that little BTP address, you can forget about learning about 11-digit numbers and then just plonk it in. In real life, that's more like 15 because you'll have the port number as well. Okay. And also note that using this little number followed by a colon, so that's this little thing here, type in 3389, you will have access to your computer. Another thing that I want to point out is that when you type this in, okay, it automatically predicts to port 80, and this basically is going to access your router. It's not going to access the RDP setup that you've made, okay, remote desktop protocol setup. It won't do that. It will just go straight to your router. Okay, so I just want to be clear that don't set it to the default password. You might want to change it if you're planning to use it as this. If you leave it as your default, it could be a security breach. But that's not to say that some passwords are bad. It's just that it could affect the way in which your system runs in terms of logging into the internet or logging on, and it could completely mess things up. Okay, so I'm just making that aware for you. Okay, so I guess that's it. Thank you for joining me on this tutorial.